SEO is really like it's a matching game, right? The language on your website, the language they're typing into the search bar. So if you can really identify that language and put it in the right places on your website, you're going to have a much better chance of drawing those searchers and winning that traffic.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am thrilled you're here today because we're getting a little technical, but without being super technical. We have brought Laura Jawad, an SEO strategist, here to the podcast with us today. And we're diving into all things around visibility and showing up on Google. And I think it's just going to be such a fun conversation. So welcome, Laura. I am so happy you're here.
Thank you, Becky. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Me too. Me too. Okay, we're just gonna get into some rapid fire questions. We're
Okay.
just gonna do a little bit of a warm up. So I'd love to hear one business tool you can't live without.
God, I love tools, Becky. Like I'm such a tech nerd. So this is actually a very hard question for me.
The rapid fire
Um,
ones are always the hardest
I
for the
know.
record.
Today I'll say ClickUp because I
Okay.
really enjoy being able to have so many like to-do lists. I like having my to-do lists categorized, but then I can have the master to-do list.
Yes, we are a big team ClickUp over here
Okay.
as
Yeah.
well. They're based in San Diego.
Are
Fun
they?
fact.
Okay.
And my husband works with me in our business, and he was kind of the original ClickUpper in our business, where he's like, we got to start using ClickUp. We got to start using it. Now, all of us have our like official badges. You know how they give you like a badge,
Oh
like a super
yeah.
user badge, except for him. We don't know why. So we keep joking that we're just going to like walk down to their office and be like, what up? Where's his badge? All right. So tell me, favorite guilty pleasure way to research content ideas? Is it like a scrolling TikTok, a Pinterest rabbit hole? What does that look like for you?
Mine is not going to be so juicy. So content ideas, honest to God, are just like not a problem. There's too many things I want to write about, but I'll tell you what my favorite thing to do now is, which is I've put all my content into a Google Notebook.
Okay.
It's like an LLM that you can just train on your content, right? You put all your content in there and then it acts like an LLM, but it can only draw from the content you've provided it. And I use that for my content ideas. So I draw my
Okay.
content ideas from my content now, which is really, really fun. It keeps the messaging aligned really well,
Yeah.
right? Like I keeps the
Yeah.
same themes popping up, but it gives you unique angles. It's a
Yeah.
really fun way of doing it. Like if someone has somewhat of a knowledge base established, whether it's like blogs or emails or social media, like I think it's a really fun thing to try to like use your
Yeah.
own content as your content inspiration.
That's really fun. Okay, so tell me more about that. I'm curious. So you have
Yeah.
it all in one big Google folder, document, notebook.
Notebook. Yep.
And then which tool are you using to source the content from?
So you can add stuff to a Google Notebook. You can add links.
Okay.
So I have a variety of notebooks. I have one notebook that's just blog posts, and I just draw it directly from my website. So I took my sitemap. I pulled my
Okay.
sitemap and I had ChatGPT give me a clean URL list, and I just like
Okay.
popped it in there. And
So
so
is
I've got
ChatGPT spitting back out the different content ideas from your
no, no,
content,
no. I
or
just used it
you're
to
pulling it?
generate the URL list. And then I
Okay.
put that into the Google Notebook. And then Google Notebook, you can query it. It is
Oh.
an LLM. So then you essentially, there's like a left-hand sidebar where you can see all the
Uh-huh.
files you've loaded in. And that can be Google Docs, it can be URLs, it can be YouTube videos. So you can create notebooks out of other people's content if you want. Like you can put anything you want in there and then you query it. The difference between that and a regular like ChatGPT is while it's a broadly trained LLM, it has
Yeah.
sort of like broad knowledge. It's not accessing the outside world to answer your questions. It's only relying on like the facts
Your
in your
content.
questions. It's kind of like I was watching a show last night on Netflix and someone had short-term amnesia,
Uh-huh.
right? So they're
Yeah.
still like an adult, like they still understand concepts, they still know how to do stuff. Oh, it was Severance. It was
Okay.
Severance, right?
Okay.
Like you're still like a smart person, even though
Yeah.
you don't know how you got here.
Uh,
Notebook LM is kind of like that. It can only
Okay.
use what's in the knowledge files you give it. So then, I can say there's so many different ways you could query it, right? Like I've had it create a content calendar for me before, like create a 3-month content calendar for this platform with like these 3 categories of posts,
Uh-huh.
like, based on the content in this folder, right? And
Okay.
then it'll generate like a LinkedIn content plan or a social, whatever it is. But I have different notebooks. So I have one for just blog posts, and then I have one that is blog posts and podcast transcripts and like summit talks,
Yeah.
so that I can also do like a what things have I talked about in podcasts that I haven't written a blog post about yet, right? So there's all kinds of
Yeah.
ways to use it to query, to like look for content ideas,
Yeah.
but it's so powerful because like it's your own stuff. And I think so often we like rely on, like we just assume other people have better content ideas, but
Mhm.
we have so many good content ideas and we
Yeah.
should be reusing our own content ideas, right?
Yeah.
So I think I've taken us a little off track here and I
No,
apologize. But I think
no,
I
I'm
think
like in
Google
it
LM,
though.
or I think
Like,
Notebook LM is, I mean, no one in our world is using it, right? And
no.
it's so cool. It's so powerful. And it really lets you repurpose, reuse, recycle your work in such unique ways. And we all need more of that, right?
Yeah.
We all need
Oh, I
more of
love
that.
this. Okay, about to go create a Google Notebook after this call.
Yeah, and I actually just
I'm
upgraded mine
obsessed.
because it's like if you have a Google account, it's free
Yeah.
for up to, you can make as many notebooks as you want, and you can put 50 sources in each notebook. And I actually just upgraded so I could make some like mega notebooks with like everything in them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we already have all of our stuff in Google Drive, so I feel
Super
like it's
easy.
just pulling in what we need and organizing it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
You're gonna love it.
Rabbit hole. That was the question, was what
Okay.
rabbit holes are we going down? And we did it. So going a totally different direction. What is your go-to way to recharge after a long day of business?
I am owning like my couch potato era. So like a good Netflix binge or Hulu and crochet.
Oh, and
So
crochet. Okay.
yes, it's like TV and grandma hobbies.
We are now in that era. I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
That's
I
all
feel
I
like I
want to
used
do
to,
is
oh, and I used to work at night. And now I'm like, nope.
can't
I
anymore.
need to like turn the brain off because I'm
Yeah.
not going to sleep well tonight if I
Hmm.
keep working tonight. And I am tracking my sleep now because also in that season of
Yeah.
how well did I sleep? Okay. How can I check out? I love that.
It's
So good.
increasingly hard. I mean, we all have our nights, right? As entrepreneurs, you all have your nights when like you just have to
Yeah.
work in the
Yeah.
evening. But like, man, I used to work best at night.
Yeah.
I used to
Me
really love
too.
working at night, and now it wrecks my sleep. I'm not thinking as clearly, like nothing about it is as good. So I try really, really hard. After the kids go to bed, that's my time
Yeah.
to be a vegetable.
Yeah. Okay. I support that. I'm right there with you. Okay. So let's back up a little bit. You started your business journey as a birth doula. Is that right? And pregnancy,
Personal
postpartum.
trainer. I started,
Okay. Personal
yeah,
training. Yeah.
I started first with pregnancy and postpartum personal training,
Okay. Got
which
it.
itself was a second career. I have a background in academic science. So
Okay.
the, that was my second career. But yeah, it started out as pregnancy and postpartum personal training. And then I brought birth doula support
Birth
into
doula.
that practice.
Okay. Got it. And now you're an SEO strategist. So like there was a leap there, like something happened. What's the
Yeah.
story behind that?
So I built that pregnancy and postpartum personal training business and the birth doula practice from the ground up using SEO.
Okay.
And both of those became booked out, waitlisted practices. And in the world of birth doulas, maybe that's not so unusual. I mean, I was very good at it, the SEO
Mhm.
side of it, but particularly in personal training, it was
Yeah.
still is fairly
Very competitive.
unusual. It's
Yeah.
competitive if you're on Instagram.
Oh,
It's
okay.
competitive on
Okay.
Instagram. But as those businesses thrived, like I had colleagues coming to me for help with their websites because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you talk to these people who are like, oh, I'm on social media, but I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to be relying on social media. And so I was helping people informally with
Yeah.
their websites. And at a certain point, I decided to productize that service and make this hard pivot. And I do still have I don't offer birth doula support at all anymore, but I
Okay.
do keep a small roster of personal training clients because I love them.
That's
But
amazing.
like my main bread and butter business now is the SEO.
SEO. Okay. Okay. I'm also kind of I can be an SEO nerd when I want. You're an expert at it, but I definitely, as an online business owner, have built all of my businesses with websites and having good content
Mhm.
that reaches people. So I know the value of being findable and how
Mhm.
important that is to build trust with people and connect with people. And I think you're exactly right. A lot of people are in that season right now that they're like, I don't want to be on social media 24/7. I'm getting bummed out that my post has such a tiny reach. How do I leverage a website as a tool to help other people find me and for me to connect with our clients? So tell me a little bit in your own words on just why you see SEO being so, so powerful for business owners and direct sellers specifically.
Well, I think in terms of discoverability,
Yeah.
it's essential, right? When you're on something like social media, it's push marketing, right? You're putting your stuff out there and you know that whatever 95% of the people who see that post are not your customers, but you're putting it out there in the hopes that someone's going to run across it and that you get in front of the right person. A website it's totally different, right? You are making yourself discoverable for somebody who is actively searching for your service or solution and needs it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
And
powerful.
and those people are so much more likely to convert once they find you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, for a lot of our audience, as direct sellers, every direct seller is given a company website where
Mhm.
the e-commerce transactions are taking place. Just kind of walk us through really the difference between having a company website and then having your own site that is optimized and really specific to you and the personal brand that you're building.
Sure. So a company provided website is a template,
Mm,
right? And everyone in that organization, all your other direct sellers within that organization, they're going to essentially have like the same website, the same copy, the same product descriptions, the same structure.
yeah.
And from Google's perspective, that is like hundreds or thousands of identical pages, and there is no reason for them to rank one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's duplicated content.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have your own website, that's a completely different story, right? It gives you control over your messaging, your story, your product descriptions. It gives you an opportunity to differentiate yourself and create original content. And now all of a sudden, like Google sees that original content and it has something to work with, it has something to rank.
I love that. I mean, you're speaking my love language here because a lot of our direct sellers are either currently using Oh My High or thinking about Oh My
Yep.
High or other website platforms to show up. But I think for many, this idea, even if they have their own website today, there's still that feeling that SEO sounds really scary or really technical. So, how do you simplify it for your clients?
I bring it back to words.
Hmm.
I like to say there's four like pillars of SEO. There's keywords and content, there's the technical stuff, and that's the stuff people get scared of. There's user experience, there's brand recognition.
Yeah.
But I bring it back to the keywords and content because we all know how to talk about our stuff,
Yeah.
right? Your sellers know how to talk about the thing that they're selling. And at its core, SEO isn't really about the algorithms or the tech. Like it is about connection. It's about real people searching for real solutions. And the
Mhm.
words that they type into the website, those are the things that are going to bridge the journey to like, that's what Google is going to use to connect back to your website.
Yeah.
We have to start there. That's the part that is most easily accessible to the everyday business owner. And like the tech, all that stuff, it matters, but only if the right words are there.
Yeah.
So I bring it back there. SEO is really like it's a matching game, right? The language on your website, the language they're typing into the search bar. So if you can really identify that language and put it in the right places on your website, you're going to have a much better chance of drawing those searchers and winning that traffic.
I love that. And winning the traffic. So good. So, what do you think the biggest challenge is that direct sellers are facing when it comes to the SEO side of things?
It's a really good question. And I have two answers I'm going to give
Okay.
you for this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
the first one is what we just talked about, right? Like they're trying to build trust and visibility on platforms. they don't know. They don't own. And so Google just has no reason to rank any one page over the other.
Right.
And it's those templated websites. And then the second challenge is going to be differentiating themselves personally from hundreds of other sellers selling the same products. So
Mm-hmm.
it's two different things, right? There's the templated website, but then there's also how do you differentiate yourself in that sea of sameness? How do you create a personal connection and make sure that that personal brand is showing up in search?
Yeah. I love that. And I think especially as we kind of look at the landscape of direct sales and some of the changes that we've seen over the last few years, that I think more and more direct sellers are really leaning into the personal brand side of
Mhm.
things. And they're really recognizing that having the templated website isn't quite enough for them anymore, or it is important for them to differentiate why they should be buying from them versus somebody else over here that's selling the exact same product line. So I think personal branding is becoming even more of a popular topic. And some direct sellers are selling multiple brands or adding on digital products that they're selling or other offers that complement the direct sales product lines that they're selling. So I think this is especially timely and relevant. So if a direct seller is listening right now and they're thinking, okay, maybe I need to start paying attention to SEO. This is something that I really need in my business right now. What would you say are maybe two or three just really easy SEO tweaks, like we call it tweaks, that anyone could make to really improve their site quickly?
Okay. It's going to be three because I always have so many things I want to say. And let's bring it back to words. So
Yeah.
the first one is I want you to identify opportunities to differentiate yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's hundreds of people selling the same product. And your goal is not necessarily to rank for, you know, buy branded products.
Mm-hmm.
The competition for that is going to be really stiff. Instead, can you rank for best product for your specific niche,
Okay.
right? So we're thinking about keywords and we're thinking about making them longer tail. That means more specific, more descriptive. You can also have content around like how to use this product for specific results, right? How do you market your product differently? Is it that you have a specific audience? Is it that you are targeting a specific result? Make sure that's really clear in how you talk about your product. And then the second one is going to be to focus on like relationship and location-based services. So
Okay.
again, going back, and this is really just another spin on like make your keywords longer tail, make them more
Yeah.
specific. So, you're not just a Mary Kay consultant. We were talking about this earlier. This is the first thing that pops into my mind, right? When I
Yeah.
think, and I hope I'm not insulting anyone in the audience. I'm just like going back to high school and like remembering we had a Mary
Yeah.
Kay consultant on the block. But making sure that when you talk about yourself, it's not just, I'm a Mary Kay consultant, right? Like you're putting your name next to that. You're putting your name and brand next to that so that search engines also start to train themselves to think about you in conjunction with that brand. You're purchasing your product pages, how to buy from
Mm.
Jane Doe, right? Like put
Yeah.
your name into things, like using your name and location as much as you can is going to make you more competitive when someone is looking up, Mary Kay Consultant, Seattle. I think
Yeah.
actually the example I gave you when we were just chatting before this is when Beauty Counter was still Beauty Counter and you
Right.
had to purchase through a consultant. I would
Yeah.
search for, because I didn't know anyone, no one approached me. I just wanted to buy their products. So I had to actually search for Beauty
Yeah.
Counter Consultant Seattle,
Seattle. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So you're
And
looking to
you want to
find
be the
someone
person that
local.
comes up. So making sure, you're using these very specific keywords on your website that are identifying your audience, the solution that you're targeting, the location where you are, your full name.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important. So really making those keywords longer tail and go look for those opportunities, right? Because we're talking about like what tweaks can you make right now? Go to your homepage right now, go to your product page right now and look for opportunities where you could make those words more specific. And the third thing I would say is just make sure that you're using those words in the places that matter. And that's going to be the SEO title, which I know.
Yeah.
Can you remind me, does Oh My High let you update that or is that automatically generated? on Oh My High. I think you guys might automatically generate it, but if you have
Yeah.
another website platform where you have the option of updating that manually, SEO title, and that's the blue link in the Google search results, that's what shows up in search. Your headline, your above the fold headline, your image
Yeah.
file names. So instead of like img1234.jpg, it could be beauty counter hyphen Seattle hyphen Jane hyphen Doe dot
Yeah.
JPEG, right?
Good.
So thinking about how you can put those words into your image titles. There's all these hidden opportunities to use keywords on your
Yeah.
website, and most people are skipping most of them.
Yeah, that is so good. And I love kind of that local connection too. I'm even imagining as a direct seller, if you're doing events that are local to you, having a blog post or an events page of, where you'll be or pictures from the events or an event recap with your name and that location. So you're not only starting to gain some visibility on that location as a larger city, but maybe even some of the smaller towns if people are searching for that product line or your name in that area, that's only going to help you out. Like that's such an
100%. And
easy
if I was
one.
going to give one SEO tip that's not a quick tweak,
Yeah. Yeah. Give it.
it would be create more content,
Yeah.
right? Create content on your website because every piece of content you create is an additional backdoor into your website. It's an additional keyword opportunity. And I absolutely love that example you just gave because yes, like an event recap
Yeah.
is going to be so keyword rich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it also starts to provides trust signals to
Yeah.
Google and to the people landing on your website. There's so much value in creating that content. And so you can create content like that that's locally focused. You could also create content about how to use your products for your solutions, right? Or like frequently asked questions. There's so many ways to create content and that's a longer term project, right? The simple tweaks, go take 15 minutes after you listen to this and look at your homepage and look at how you're talking about yourself and think about how you can make that more specific or how you can use those keywords in more strategic places. Longer
Yeah.
term, think about how you can put more content on your website.
I love that. I love that. So, so, so smart. I think creating content like that, yeah, it's going to take some time to write the blog post or do the event recap, but it is one of those long-term strategies
It's long
that's going to
term.
continue to support you over time. And people ask us all the time, like, what did you do in your website to, have your podcast episodes rank high or different training topics? And I'm always like, we just create a lot of content. Like it started as a blog before we got into doing training and monetizing it and selling. So we just have a lot of content. Anytime anyone asked me a question, I would just answer it with a blog post.
Yep,
And so that content just started building, good search juju for us over time.
it does.
And now if you look for it, it shows up, which is so great.
Yeah, it builds what's called topical authority. So
Mm-hmm.
Google wants to promote search results by essentially trusted contributors, right? And trust comes from links from other websites back to yours and from reviews, like positive reviews. That's one brand, like one flavor of trust signal. But another is topical authority. And that's how much of an expert does it think you are? And the number one way to make it think you're an expert in the thing that you do is to write about it.
About it.
And in
Yeah.
your case, like the podcast show notes, that counts, right? That
Yeah.
counts. Long form content. It's essentially create long form content about it and make sure that long form content's hosted on your website. And I work more with service providers or coaches, that type of business. But for a direct seller, I could still imagine a lot of ways that you could create content to fill out a blog that doesn't need to be encyclopedic. It doesn't need to be purely informational. There's a lot
Right.
of opportunities to, provide tutorials or frequently asked questions or event reviews or, you know, kind of case studies, profiles of clients who have had great success with your products. Or there's so many ways to use that space. But the more you publish on your website in content that is relevant to your expertise, your offers, and real audience questions, okay, don't go out in left field here. It's not a journal, but relevant content that is going to build your topical authority and that is going to increase the chances that you show up in search.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's so good. So you may have already kind of answered this, but if you really are thinking, okay, I have a website, I need to lean into that. I really want to make I always say like your website being your hardest working team member, right? If
Yeah,
you're a direct seller, you probably don't have a ton of people working for you, but your website can be working for you. Where would you suggest they start? Would it be with content?
it would be with content. It would be
Yeah,
create more
okay.
content. But I can add to that a little bit. Create more content, but make sure that content has great calls to action.
Okay,
Again,
perfect.
I mentioned earlier, like content should always be aligned with your expertise,
Hmm.
and for your sellers, that's probably the category of thing that they sell. It should be aligned with things that your audience cares about, real questions they're asking, or things that are genuinely going to help them. And it should align with your offers. So every piece of content, whether we're talking about a blog post or an FAQ page or whatever it is, should have really compelling calls to action back to your email list, your product pages. Like, I don't know what's appropriate for each individual piece of content, right? That's for you to decide, but
Yeah.
strong calls to action.
I love that. I love that. So good. Okay, so tell us, you have a whole guide called SEO Simplified,
I
right? And
do. I
it
do.
takes the guesswork out of keyword research and SEO. So tell us about that. And of course, how we can get our hands on it.
Yes. So SEO Simplified is my SEO keyword research workbook, and it walks you through how to find the right words to connect your business with the people who are already looking for the thing that you do, right? Goes back to discoverability. And so I know that a lot of business owners hear keyword research and they start thinking like, oh, like spreadsheets and tools, and it all sounds very overwhelming. But I put
Yeah.
together this workbook to really make the process simple. It starts with brainstorming on a piece of paper the questions that your audience is thinking about. Okay. So it teaches you how to validate that brainstorm, like to turn those topics into keywords and then organize them into a plan that you can actually use and implement on your website. So I think if this episode piqued your interest,
Yeah.
SEO Simplified is the next very simple step for you to start really making a plan for the words that you want to use on your website and how to use them. So you can access that at laurajawadmarketing.com/modern hyphen direct hyphen seller. But I also am sure that Becky will put that link in the show notes so you don't have to remember that.
Yes, I will
Okay.
definitely link to it in the show notes. So it's just an easy one click
Yeah.
and we can grab it. That is an amazing gift. Thank you for sharing that with
Yeah.
us. I can't wait to get my hands on it too. Okay, so tell us, where can we connect with you? Should we go there? Is that the best place to go? Where do
Well,
we
I
follow you? Do you hang out on social? Tell us, Laura.
Yeah, so my favorite place to hang out is my website. Come visit it.
Of
Come Google
course.
it. Google me. Google me.
Google me.
But I do these days LinkedIn is my most active platform.
Okay,
So I can share
perfect.
that link with you. And I'm on Instagram as well. So I'll
Okay.
I'll share both of those links with you.
Amazing. So good. Well, I love that we tackled something fairly technical, but in like real people words that I think every podcast listener could understand and take something away and go implement right away. So I so appreciate you, Laura, for breaking this down for us and sharing your incredible insights. I can't wait to hear how our listeners take it and go run with it and put it in action. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Becky. This was really fun.
So fun. Thank you. This episode is sponsored by CintShare. CintShare is the #1 social media scheduler for direct sellers and loved by creators in any industry. It's truly your one-stop shop for all things social. Join hundreds of thousands of social sellers and entrepreneurs who turn to CintShare for free social media training and resources. Get started today with your free 30-day trial at moderndirectseller.com/CintShare.